Let's start with a movie which has already won Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actor nods at the Golden Globe, quite deservedly as well. And it's picking up awards at international film festivals because it damn well deserves them. It's got the less award-winning title of Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Now, that obviously places it firmly in the US, but it's written and directed by Martin McDonagh, who has strong British and Irish heritage. And he's also got international form. One of his most recent films was In Bruges. Now, it's pretty weighty stuff, isn't it? Is Three Billboards. It's the story of a mother, played by Frances McDormand, whose daughter has been rather horribly killed, murdered, and who's very, very aggrieved that the local police department, to her mind at least, aren't doing enough to track down those responsible. And so she hires, she rents the eponymous Three Billboards, and one of them calls out by name the police chief, Bill Willoughby, played by Woody Harrelson.
Yes.
And so the film, and I'm hesitant to use the word story because it's not a story so much, it's a phenomenal character study. But the film plays out as the response by Harrelson's police chief and the other police and the town in general. It's their response to her very, very provocative series of billboards.
Yes.
And
it's interesting, isn't it, Steve? It presents a flip between a position where they were all very sympathetic towards her, but once she had a go at the police chief, who everyone was quite fond of, sympathies turned around, didn't they? And so suddenly she became the butt of opprobrium, shall we say, at the very least, and people felt like that she was being unfair. And I think you're right; it is a fascinating character study. Yeah, gosh, I was really taken with it.
Well, I think what you just mentioned is part of the crux of the brilliance of the film, is the fact that you can have a woman who is mourning the loss of her murdered teenage daughter, and who yet manages not to be the focus of the sympathy of the town she lives in. There's so many contrasts and contradictions in the film. You know, like I said, it's not so much a story as it's a series of episodes and scenes where you've got weapons grade acting talent being given spectacularly beautifully crafted, phenomenally deftly written scenes that they can just completely envelop themselves into the most astonishing effect. And it's just beautifully put together, and it takes you within a single scene or exchange from wanting to laugh out loud to suddenly being absolutely torn apart emotionally.
Yeah, I think that one of I agree with a key point there that you've just made, Steve, about what this film's really all about, and it's a very insightful look at how someone who is grieving will not necessarily conform to a pattern of behavior that everyone else will think is, the right way to go about grieving.
Yes.
I think it's a very individual thing. And we see as you say, Frances McDormand, who plays the mother, who's called Mildred. Mildred is not a hiding a light under a bushel, is she? She's a feisty,
she's a powerful,
she's a strong, powerful, a wicked sense of humor. Sure, she's suffering terribly, but she's not going to be trampled over, and she's going to carry on and to try to do her best to seek some justice for her murdered daughter. And then it shows the reactions, as you say, the reactions of other people to this dynamic. And particularly we see this character, a junior officer in the police force called Jason.
Oh, yes.
He's played by Sam Rockwell, who certainly at the beginning of the film can't abide by the fact that Mildred's gone out on a limb like this, and he takes some pretty violent and reaction on his own two shoulders to put it right as he sees it. So his character is one of the key characters in the whole film. It's and there's a lot of, I think the thing I found really interesting was the way that the writer-director, you said, as you reminded us, of Martin McDonagh, how do you say that? McDonagh?
I'm going with McDonagh.
McDonagh, I think he interestingly shows empathy for people you might not want necessarily to be empathetic towards, like Officer Jason, who was, let's face it, he's violent, he's a racist.
Oh, he's a thoroughly reprehensible character.
Yeah, but we do somehow eventually get on his side. So that's a pretty good effort in scripting there.
It is. Madonna takes him on quite a journey, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if I had any, there were a couple of points I just wondered to myself watching this. It's a thoroughly engrossing film, highly recommended. But the character that Jason, played by Sam Rockwell, he goes on a heck of a journey, a character arc, if you like, from being this rough, violent, racist guy into. I don't want to spoil the story if you haven't seen it, but let's say his character changes a great deal, and while we are given particular reasons to explain why he changes, for me there was just a point in the film I thought, oh man, how realistic is it that he could flip so much? But I kind of went with it because I think we were given a good reason for it. Yeah. But I enjoyed Sam Rockwell's performance so much I didn't mind really because it was a great performance.
No, I know you're going with that, and I can definitely see there was a certain contradiction in the character of Jason Dixon before and after a very particular message that he receives.
Yes,
and you can see the sort of the pivot point around which the character changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's so much else that is almost flawless about this film.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you one more thing. Can I have? What did you make of the humor? Because there was quite a bit of really excellent humor in the film.
It was astonishingly funny in many places.
It wasn't it, and I just wondered, given that it's dealing with the subject matter as it is with murder and grief, how did that sit with you? I mostly felt that it was just giving us a bit of light and shade as we went along, but occasionally I just wondered, because people were laughing out loud, whether it almost detracted or belittled the seriousness of the other messages in the film. Did you get that at all?
No, because like I said, I think it managed to never let you get comfortable with the humour.
Yeah.
Every time there was a genuinely belly laugh moment, and there were many, it would then almost immediately pull the rug out from underneath you and say, you can laugh, but this is serious stuff. And it would switch in seconds.
Yes. I think, Steve, there was a absolutely brilliantly written and performed short little scene where Mildred confronts the senior priest.
Oh, dear Lord, yes.
And I think that was brilliant because that combined both the seriousness of what this whole film was about, and it got some humor out of it at the same time. I thought that was just an absolutely stunning scene.
Yes.
Not a long scene, just quite a brief scene, but it was, boy, would they just A+ for that one. I'd go see the film just for that. It was really, really good.
Well, I mean, the obvious question that we always ask each other is, would we recommend buying a ticket for this? And I'm going to ask you instead, are you going to buy a ticket to see it again?
That's an interesting point. Well, you know what? I was talking to this about this film to someone who's close to me, who's actually gone through the experience of losing a child, and I wondered how they would react to it and whether it would be too difficult. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it would be difficult, but also you get a lot out of it, and there's a lot of insight, there's a lot of empathy, there's a lot of humor, there's a lot of resilience. And I kind of think, even if I had lost my own child, the knowledge that someone else has looked at that and is sort of knows what it's like and is trying to get that across is kind of an act of solidarity, if you like. And so I could see it again. It's not an easy – at times it's not an easy watch, but it's beautifully put together and shot and directed. The performances are fantastic. So I think I could see it again, yes, to answer your question. You?
Sure. I think there's so much in it that I have a feeling that if I were to watch it again, I'd probably find a whole new set of brilliances in it. I know I'm gushing a little bit here, but I don't remember the last time I saw a film of such rich quality.
Yeah. And there was just as a quick little sidebar, what an interesting mix of music McDonough used. He had classical and sort of operatics type, and then he had some banjo going and sort of more country music, and it worked. It was an odd mix, but it worked exceedingly well.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I cannot recommend this film highly enough. It's going to get Oscar buzz. Lady Bird, which is coming out very shortly over here, apparently it's going to be its big rival, but I'm not sure I'm going to see a better film this year.
No, it's really, really good. It's entertaining, but also thoughtful, and Please go see it.